Howdy do. I am Gamrison, and welcome to what is probably the final video of 2022. In which case, like YouTube rewinds and stuff and looking back on the year, I wanted to do one, but for this channel specifically, because most of the videos on the channel, especially the last 2 years when doing friends or doing videos with friends, I should say, are that. It's like a trip down memory lane more so than anything else. But even the solo stuff that we've done, the solo series and stuff, it's kind of nice to just kind of look back because that's kind of what this channel is mainly about. So what I'm probably going to do is just kind of go month by month, maybe a minute per month, go over kind of like the ideas behind some videos. Not necessarily every single video, because I think we've done, if you combine shorts too, a good 200 plus. But it's not going to be too long of a video, but it'll be a little bit longer of a video. But it's also like the last video of 2022. I thought it'd be just kind of nice to do this, especially because like January, if you look at the first 4 videos right here in the middle part, January only had 4 videos. This thing kind of happens every year where I want to go hard in January in terms of putting out a lot of videos, getting off to a good start quickly and a lot of cool ideas, and then I just don't. It happened the year before too, but at least the excuse that time was I did stream like 12 times over on Twitch at least. So it was like 12 Twitch streams and like a good 4 or 5 videos. Maybe we'll break that. Maybe we'll do a whole 6 videos in January of 2023. But in this particular instance, the goals I was trying to set out was like in the first one, just kind of being exhausted. 2020 and even 2021 was a bit exhausting. 2020 more so. 2021 a little bit of a kind of hangover of 2020. 2022 was like, let's see if we can break that exhaustion. Spoiler alert, we kind of did, but I'm still very exhausted. I'm still very tired. But it was overall, I'd say, a good year. The backlog was definitely backlogged quite a bit, as we'll get into, but that happens, which is kind of what the second video was over here. And even this video we'll get to in a second was kind of more of that. I did kind of like a lot of vlogging to start the year because they're very easy videos to do. I just turn on the camera and talk about something. This middle one, of course, was the Bebotics War. I found out the hard way because I put Gramps doing bees laugh in a video that apparently that was not a great idea. And so Table came and started attacking us in GTA. But Mitchie happened to be there. And so Mitchie started attacking back. And it became a full blown out war. I think I butchered that sentence, but we're going to roll past that. And then, of course, there's the final video in January, which was just like kind of the you can do it kind of comfort redux. And it was just me reiterating a little bit of these first 2 videos about the idea of how would I sum this up? Basically, if you had an idea, if you had a goal, if you had something you wanted to do and you wasn't sure how to do it, or if you can do it, or if it was possible for you to do, if you were like allowed to do it, and not like it's illegal. I mean, like the way your life's gone, if you're deserving to do it, I was like, but you can. I don't want to go into specific details. I'll think of a funny example we could use here to drive home this point, combined with the conversation I had with Tanks. I gotta think of something though. All right, January might be particularly a little bit a long part of the video, and then some months they're just gonna be shorter than a minute, because this example won't make sense until you see the video tomorrow, for those of you that are watching the video tomorrow when it comes out, versus what I just did today on the Discord, where I'm going to use an example that's hopefully not a serious example, which is why I'm using it. I don't want to get accidentally too personal with someone's actual goals. So back in 2021, Lucy made the joke about what if she got a Chiaki cosplay while doing the TTT, because of the whole, Chiaki with the gun, that whole era, the cursed Chiaki stuff. And using that as the example to segue into a conversation with Tanks one night, right? Let's pretend that was something they actually wanted to do. It was an actual life goal of theirs. It's not, to my knowledge. Unless it is, then my bad for using that as the example, despite the whole not trying to get personal stuff. But let's just pretend, all right? Let's pretend for some reason, though, it didn't quite work. Like, let's say it didn't fit correctly, and so it seemed like, oh, that sucks. What do now? The conversation with Tanks kind of went on the lines of, you probably have a goal, or maybe you've had goals in life where it seemed like because you didn't hit them in a certain window that they were out of reach. But a lot of these goals are supposed to be taken in multiple steps anyways, and not like bounded up the whole entire staircase in one go. So the conversation with Tanks that was very proactive and productive was the idea of maybe sometimes goals just take extra steps before you can get there, and that's also okay. Like what's, you're not getting any younger anyways. It's not like life is gonna stop until you complete certain things and you don't get to progress in like a video game or something. In real life, life keeps moving. And so maybe that goal can still keep moving. It just maybe takes a little longer to hit, a little bit further to go, but it's still there, it's still obtainable. So this cosplay goal, for example, maybe it's the same thing, right? Like if it didn't fit correctly, because maybe certain things need to be lengthened or certain things were shaped weird, right? Maybe the idea there in this analogy is the extra steps is refitting it, right? Making certain things slightly longer or slightly more durable because maybe the material was kind of flimsy, right? Again, I don't think this is an actual goal of theirs, hopefully, but I was just bringing that up as a kind of a goofy example. So now it makes sense when you see that, I guess, yesterday versus the video today. But yeah, that was the primary idea behind it. And I stand by that. I stand by that. Some of us have goals that we're maybe disappointed in ourselves or whatever because we hadn't hit yet or still haven't hit, but maybe it's still coming and it's just going to take a little extra longer. And that it is what it is. I hate to just kind of boil it down to that, but at the same time, it's like that doesn't mean it's over, right? Maybe it's over in the initial space that we had. And maybe some things are time sensitive, sure, but some things you can still go get. It's still entirely possible. It just might take a little extra longer, a little extra help, a little extra deviating off the path until you get back on that path, like a Chiaki cosplay during TTT. And so we're going to move on to the next part because we're going to February finally, which is going to be a little quicker. Some of these are going to be a little quicker, right? Because then we get into backlog stuff, right? This video summed up is just, hey, a couple friends got into, League of Legends because of Arcane. It was kind of as a joking thing, but, I'm a veteran of the game. Gamma's a veteran of the game. They're like, hey, well, teach us. And it's like, cool, I guess, depression. But that's what that video basically was. This was the contract DLC with Franklin and stuff. And not to say that Lucy's rich, but she had the agency and like everything in it already, like day one. Just saying, that was a good 5-7 million. All right, this was just a little funny short video because this person has Soul Evans outfit on for some reason down in like Los Santos, the southern area down where Franklin's old house was. And I was like, okay, Rockstar. That's basically Soul Eater in Grand Theft Auto. This is, again, another backlog. This is September. This was the classic banter these nuts, Gamflage video, as a matter of fact. That one was fun. And that's what I mean. We won't necessarily go video by video, but even if we do, some of these are kind of short, and so it makes sense. King Battle hates engineers. Yeah, we had one night in VR chat. We went to this cool world. Battle got to be a king, and you had these prompts, and you'd bring them up to him, and he would like deny them or accept them for the kingdom. There's like a bar for like your defenses and stuff like that. And I jokingly kind of, because we kind of I want to say like role played our roles a bit just to make it more fun. And so that was the idea when he said he hates engineers. Every engineer role got denied because it was kind of involved helping the enemy a little bit low key or like using a lot of expenses to defend the kingdom. So I get it, but it was still kind of funny, which is like this one as well. We went to a kitchen world where we try to serve food and put it together in a time limit. So that's what it kind of reminded me of like Hell's Kitchen, like Gordon Ramsay. This one was fun too. We did like a quiz game at first, and then we went to like the Squid Game map. This was this year. This was like February this year. That's how far behind the backlog was because the video was recorded in October, and that's what's kind of funny about it. Which is like this one. This was in December of last year because it's the Mega Pizzaplex. We explored it, but for some reason it kept making everyone's PC overheat. I don't know. If it makes people's PCs overheat collectively, that might have been that the world wasn't quite optimized yet. It might be by now, so it could be nice to revisit just to see. And then there was a time the mechanics met up. And we kind of had like a nice, December meetup. And that was actually pretty fun. Phasmophobia for the first time with Digi and Capstan. Me and Capstan had the ready up ritual. So that's what that name was. He'd just look over and we'd be readying up by doing this bobbin thing before we go into something. And then we would die often. And then some more League of Legends, part 2 and part 3, where I tried to be toxic to get my friends to quit because the game was toxic. But then we had like the nicest ARAM games ever and the nicest like PvP experience. I'm like, you're not supposed to be nice. That's not how this works. And people were just kind of like, oh, hey, that was fun. It's like, thanks. Which led to this one where I think it was Lote had a deathless game. We played a game with Lote on Jinx, and they went deathless because of Gamma. Gamma's a really good sport. So now we start finally moving into March. But I think these two videos might have, no, this is March, beginning of March though. So then there was more of the contract with Capstan actually. There was the Franklin and Lamar missions that you can do, where if you and someone else do the missions and you become Franklin and Lamar and you do like a couple missions. That's what this one was. That was actually pretty fun. I really like just overall, in retrospect of GTA stuff, like that was fun, bringing Franklin back, bringing all of that back. The contract missions, I don't like the high society part. Like when you're redoing it and you have to do the high society part, I hate those missions, but I like the rest of it, right? Because if you redo the contract, you only have to do going after the tape specifically, so it's like 3 missions per thing. I love the South League ones. All those missions are fun with Vernon. And then you have the studio shootout, and then you have the finale. So it's a total of 11 missions if you want to redo it from beginning to end. You don't have to do the beginning parts, and there's no cutscenes anymore. So you just kind of bounce from mission to mission to mission. And then every time you do the finale, it's $1 million. And it's $10,000 per the other, 10 missions. So you make a good, $1.1 million redoing it. But that was even fun, right? Because there was, these extra missions. And it has the roast all over again, but if it was 2021. And it was good. Which leads into this video, which again, a lot of these were recorded in December, but didn't come out until February, March, because I was so behind. If you remember, this is the first time I saw snow again in Los Santos. I hadn't seen snow in Los Santos since 2014, 2015. I recreated my old outfit and my old car that I had 8 years ago, and I got it all over again, and now I have it again. You haven't seen the videos yet, but I busted it out again, and it was fun. Which led to this one. It was like a part 1 and part 2. We had a massive snowball fight. There was a bunch of fun stuff that we did as a squad. Even Digi came back for Christmas in Los Santos, and he doesn't play GTA all that often. Which then led into this, which was now we're actually starting to get towards January at least of this year. We're finally into 2022, where it was just randomly 10 in the morning my time. I just jumped on GTA. Capstan happened to be on. That's a game Capstan likes playing. But she's mentioned that it's hard to play the game because we have highs and lows with that game as a squad. We have moments where a lot of us are playing it and a lot of moments where no one's really playing it. So it can be kind of, isolated and boring alone a bit. So that was one where we just both happened to be on and we just did stuff. This one, I guess I am going video by video because it's not really whole part 1, part 2, whole series stuff yet, but we're getting there because we're in March already. This one's interesting because it was just I started doing clips again, small 30-second clips. It was this part where me and Mitchie raced up a ramp. I forget the name of the game, but 4 people on a team are on a ramp trying to missile launcher other people in cars that are trying to jump up these ramps and hit them off the top of it. It's a very fun game mode actually. In this particular clip, this round was only 20 seconds because me and Mitchie just gunned it at Chrono and Capstan on top of the thing. And it turned out a certain kind of way, I'll put it that way. This particular episode of TTT was the spy role. I hated that role. And I don't even hate that role specifically because I got my trader buddy killed. I just hate the role because I was that makes no sense logically to me. Also because I got my trader buddy killed, but also because it just didn't make any sense. I'm why would that? That's not a spy. You're not a spy if you're still a bad guy. And I get the idea is you kill someone, you take over their role. And that's why you want to kill somebody maybe that doesn't talk often, if at all, because then you don't have to talk, and then it makes sense. I get it, I get it now. But in the moment, I'm not spying on anything. It doesn't make sense. Then we start getting into these games. So now we're getting to mid-March, starting to get towards April, but we're still in March. My Friendly Neighborhood was a demo I played. I'm actually down to play the full game. Table played a couple demos, and then he hit me up with a couple games that I should play. And I was yeah, I'll try it. That's cool. That's one of those. So it's a one-time video so far, but it was a pretty interesting kind of a game. I thought it'd be more a horror jump scare kind of stuff, but not necessarily. But it's still a creepy, kind of weird kind of a game that I'm down to play when the full version of it comes out. This one, of course, is kind of fun. This is the Ghost of Christmas Future versus the Humans of Christmas Night. We played Ghosts versus Humans. That's the whole episode. It was pretty fun. I thought there was a lot of cool things about it. It kind of reminded us of TTT and VR Chat a little bit, but certain things didn't work back then that have been patched at least, so it's better now. Then, of course, we get to Sucker for Love. That was a fun game for various reasons. I had an excuse to dress up a bit, and I don't usually like dressing up too much, mainly because most of the times I had to when I was younger was school related, and so it was for a project I didn't feel like doing, and I didn't want to do, but I guess we're doing. Now that I'm older, it's a lot more fun to dress up because it feels like it's more of a choice. I'm choosing to dress up for an event or something that's happening, or making thumbnails for YouTube videos. It was a fun game. That was a fun game. There's 4 episodes. The first date, the second date, The second date, all endings, because I thought that's how we need to do it to unlock the third episode. Not exactly, but then there's the third date as well. This video is blowing up because it's kind of me walking through how to get all the endings, and so it's just being picked up by YouTube that way. That's how YouTube works. Discoverability is awesome on YouTube above most other places still. And then this video is like the full VOD of when the 1 year later, the tour Lucy gave me of Los Santos way back when. So the first time I played GTA in early 2021 was I did a heist with Steve, Melody, and Odeman, and I broke that up into like 5 episodes, so it wasn't like a whole 3-hour thing. Then about a month later, I've told the story many times, so I'll just jump into it immediately. It was just like, so Lucy found me in GTA, and then just took me on a tour of like all these things I didn't know existed. The nightclubs, the penthouse, all that stuff, right? So I had that, and I was like, well, it's been a year since we started GTA stuff at this point. Let me just put the whole video up there. I should have edited it a little bit, though, because I didn't realize since we're in public, all chat was a thing. I kind of need to go back in there and remember to cut certain things out still. Some things I already had to. Other things I got to go back in. YouTube has an editor, fortunately, so I can just do it on YouTube without having to delete it and re-upload it. And then I get another shorter video where there was a time where Capson had to fight 4 of us at once, and she went Batman mode. And I'll let you decide how that ends by going and watching the video if you didn't watch that one. It's part of why I'm going slow, too, because I go over a video and you're like, I don't remember watching that video. It's on the screen, hopefully long enough that you can see the title of the video. This one's funny. I feel bad about this one. This one's part of why I have the name Trader in the Discord server. But to be fair, I actually truly did not mean to record this. I just happened to look at my recordings and see that it was recording, and I left it recording. What I mean is, I have a new mouse now, but if you remember earlier in the year, I had my old mouse that had a double clicking issue, which means there's a lot of things I go to click. I've deleted so many thumbnails at the beginning of the year because I went to click something and it double clicked it and just canceled out of it and just deleted it. And I was like, I don't feel like remaking that right now. So when I went to hit like record and stop recording, it double clicked it. And so it ended the recording and then just started another recording, but I didn't catch it. I just went over, clicked, close OBS, and then kind of went on my way. And then I opened OBS when I got asked if I was recording, and turns out it was recording. It's like, well, it's recording at this point. Might as well just finish because this is kind of funny. And I just turned it into a video. So that's how that works. That's why the first whole half of the video is just world hopping, because that's initially what the video was going to be, was just the first like 12 minutes when we're going through all those different worlds, because that was fun. I was like, well, if I have this extra stuff anyways, we'll just put it on the end. This was actually New Year's Eve last year. We were exploring the New Year's map and some other stuff. There's a HoloLive world we went to and the whatnots, leading up into finally now, like heading towards April, the Thankmas 2021 charity TTT episode, which came out like 4 months later versus now, whereas we'll get to, we already have that episode up from 2022. And then, of course, New Year's of last year, which was like in April. It's a very long video, but a lot of stuff happened. It was like 11 hours of stuff that I condensed down to 40 minutes. It could have been even longer. That is true. But these were 2 fun times and kind of concluded 2021 on the channel, but now we're into 2022 on the channel. So it's kind of this weird gap, and that's why I always want to have the backlog within like a week or a month at most of what's actually happened. So this doesn't happen again in 2023. This TTC episode was fun. The first part of it has a really cool song and the map that's there. This is the parkour. Like Lote and Battle and Mitchie hadn't seen the parkour in GTA, or I think Lote maybe was there last year, but Battle and Mitchie wanted to see the parkour in GTA when it got brought up. So that's what these episodes are, and it was wild, which led to the capstan clip or the family clip. That was just a fun time. TTT. I forget specifically what happens in this episode outside of if Crimson's in the title, it means she can, oh, so this was actually a TTT episode. This is where it gets a bit split up. This is a TTT episode from back in January that only just got posted because I wanted to get the charity video out before I got that video out, because that video technically happened this year in January. That video was 2021. I didn't want to get that far out of like sync. I don't want to put episodes that are ahead of other ones. I kind of want to keep it chronological if I can. That's the idea. Put your car in. Oh, that's right. Lucy had to go to work once. And so my running joke when anyone has to go to work is to put your boss on the phone. But I forget why. She said something about her car, so I said to put her car on the phone instead. That's basically all that one was. And then cursed jokes were made. And we're like, you know what? Never mind. Go to work. But also in space with Markiplier. I did my reactions to part 1 and part 2. I was a little late on the part 1 part, but I highly recommend watching it because it's a homegrown YouTuber who did something so good that it was nominated for Emmys. Even though he got snubbed at the Emmys, it was still nominated at the Emmys. So it was definitely worth watching, and it was a pretty fun project to go through. It's a choose your own adventure kind of a thing, and it's good. It's good. I will say it's good. Go and watch it if you haven't watched it. And if you have watched it, watch it again. Why not? DPN, right? So there was the DPN is something I've been trying to go to on and off, but like sometimes I'll just wake up on a Saturday and be like, I unfortunately have things to do. I can watch it though. I can have the stream open, but I can't go to it. But I could that time, of course. I have Helltaker, so I felt like it made sense to go. So that's how that one worked out, and that one was pretty fun. The moped, that was kind of like a clip in video form where we had this moped that we found, and it was in the bike, what's called the formation in GTA. When you do a biker formation, you all go really faster. So someone got on the moped and we're like, well, how fast can a moped go if we're in biker formation on the highway? Really fast that it crashed and exploded, and it exploded other people. This TTT episode was, I think, Hat, because Hat uses Doom Guy, and I use Helltaker, so I was like, okay, cool. Kind of different approaches to dealing with the underworld, those two have. The best pilot in Los Santos. Oh, so Gammo got to play GTA. Gammo has a thing where sometimes they can play GTA because the space on their PC, if they like delete League, they can play GTA, then they delete GTA, then they can play League again. So they got to, actually, and they got to get a little bit of a tour from Lucy as well, because she happened to be on as well. I think I was trash talking about being a pilot, and then in that moment somehow Lucy got on. And it made no sense because we weren't in a call or anything. I was just playing alone. I decided to record this segment for myself to put up and be like, you know, and then of course somehow they happened to be get online at that moment. I was like, okay, cool. All right, bro. Noir was fun. Now that was a DPN that was pretty fun as well, because Graphic, he had the voice. We did like this whole like radio, not necessarily radio, I don't know the proper term of it, but we did these voices, for example, in the Office Space and the black and white. That was cool. Some TTT episodes, I'll be honest, I don't exactly know or remember that well. I don't remember this episode. That's why it doesn't really even have a proper title. It was there, and it had some funny moments in it, 12 minutes worth. Versus this one, where we have a map called Heaven and Hell, and Purgatory, I guess, in there, which is kind of an iconic map. It's a fun map to go to. It has some traps in it as well, and some ways you can die and hide bodies, and a lot of barnacles in the roofs, because people never look up. 730 was a video I made because at that point it'd been 2 years since I'd met everybody and joined Digi's Discord and stuff like that, and I was kind of reflecting on it's only had been 2 years. Now it's been like 2.5. It feels like it's been longer because when it's like Steam's group and stuff too. When you interact with people often, if not every day, it feels like you know people longer because you're interacting with them every day in some capacity. So there was like a lot of memories that have been built in 730 days, which is a lot. Don't get me wrong. If you set a goal right now and it was going to take you 730 days, it'd be a while before you got to that goal. You have time, not to mess around, but you have time to get there. So it was an interesting video to make on that regards, but it was just kind of funny because I'm like, man, it's only been that one. Also, I had Kakashi's ages wrong. He's 26 at the beginning of the first Naruto series, but he gets to 27 because everyone ages a year before the series ends. So then in the 2-year time skip, he was actually 29 to start that series. And so it also revigorated me because I'm like, oh, he wasn't 26 and 28. He was 26, turned 27, and then he was 29. 29's the year. And so, yeah, there we go. That was kind of, because I like Kakashi. He's cool. DPN, this was one of the last DPNs Blue thought they were going to get to do before they were leaving for the military. It was the desert one. Desert one was pretty fun for a variety of reasons. Graphic legit tried to get Digi out of trouble. To be fair, with Kimple, it didn't quite work out. There was a couple of things there. Part 2 of In Space with Markiplier, same things I said for part 1, but we're actually into May finally. Let's see. Oh yeah, the time Lucy stole the barrel, I went to go gamble. I came out, the barrel was gone, and then it got blown up. Z also got an Avenger. So we did play TTT 2 at some point last year. I think midway we swapped back to TTT 1 again, because we swapped and then we swapped back and then we swapped back. I believe that's how that works. So there was a role in there called like the devil role, which I thought was, you would think would be like a fellow trader role, but it's its own role, but also red, but also bad. Poppy playtime stuff. People asking for chapter 2 for a long time. It finally came out. It was very fun to play through. I was very happy at the conclusion of chapter 2, I'll be honest. Definitely a fun game to play. A lot of my shorts that are very successful come from just clipping stuff out of these. Very explosive episode of TTT. There was this one, which was a Danganronpa tier list that was technically recorded in April, but didn't come out until like June. It was a very wrong tier list, and it's wrong for a multitude of reasons, not even where Chiaki was placed. It was wrong because all 4 of us that were placing stuff had different criteria of why we were placing things where we placed them. Steam had his, you know, mentality. Graphic, who, like he said, there's some characters he didn't even know, so like just toss it up. Table, his own reasons, and then my reason was always, how much could they chug? Whatever they were chugging, how much could they chug? How efficiently could they chug it? And I put a character where I felt like they could chug. That was it, and that's what I mean. It was goofy. It was dumb. The Solved It episode where Graphic just solved it and killed everybody but the traders. It was kind of funny though. There's gonna be more episodes of this in 2023 where actually, since it's still happening that people want to play League as of today even. Table wants to do Project Playtime and then get everybody together to play some League. So I'll make more informative videos about that. But I like doing the whole cartoon / pseudo animation, so it takes a while for those to come out. And this is how the backlog was. This was like a Christmas-esque episode that took so long to come out that it was nearly summer. It was fun to make though, and I don't regret making it. Well, then there was this one. Capstan had a really cursed friend show up, and this was also April. So a lot of stuff was like April, but it was made in like June. But anyways, so she blocked me at one point because we all kept making jokes about the jokes that the friend made. It was just like a block-unblock situation though, but I guess it worked because that's okay. But there was one point in there talking to Mitchie about like voice and voice acting and stuff, and so that's why it has Mark in the title, because he got called Markiplier based off of his voice, which is interesting because you can hear the difference if you hear them side by side. But I guess like the deep voice that Mitchie can do and the deep voice that Mark can do, I can see it. Then this is a fun one. I put it into the couch 7 months ago. It still gets brought up, and it's never me. That's the part that kills me the most. It's never me that brings up the couch, literally ever. And yet it still keeps getting brought up, even though I killed it back in June. 6 months later, I guarantee you it's gonna get brought up probably on New Year's. And it's not gonna be me, again. That's how that works. Oh, that was fun. A couple TTT episodes. This is when I started breaking up videos. The next like 3 VR chat videos are all the same night, but I broke them up so that they could be more full of episodes, right? We had the back rooms at part where we were all in the back rooms and we started losing each other one by one. We had the time where for us, Lucy was frozen at the beginning of the map. You can kind of see it a little bit over here, where it does like, it keeps doing like the preview part. For us, she was stuck there. For her, she was in the game winning like by thousands and tens of thousands of points. And so it was funny because it just broke. And we don't know why. We think the instance itself was broken, but it was just kind of funny to us because we were having a whole conversation with her thinking she was just there. And in reality, she was actually just over there doing her own thing, and it was funny. I don't usually clip stuff and put it up on my own channel often, but there was a clip from when Mark was on Philip DeFranco's thing that kind of resonated with me and even Graphic when he saw it. So I put it up there because I thought it was a cool clip about like why Mark doesn't like competitive gaming and like not feeling, he doesn't like the feeling of like anger or not being in control that he can get when he gets super competitive in competitive games. So I thought that was cool. That's why I put that up there though. And then there was this one, the best NPC. Mitchie likes this video because Capstan was an NPC. It's all in the same night, but later in the night she did this NPC like improv thing, and it was really funny because a lot of them are funny. Capstan is like adamant that she's not creative. She's also wrong. Like that's just what it is. Sorry, you're wrong though about that. That's just, it is possible. It's not even just opinion. You're wrong. That was very creative and on the spot and funny to do. And so I made it into a video. I put subtitles on it and it was great. Oh God. Then we get to Dolly Mini stuff and the whole AI stuff, right? This video is interesting because I woke up, I saw that Mark did it, and I was like, I'm just going to do it too, because a lot of people are doing it already. Why not? Y'all already sent me like 10,000 Chiaki ones. I'll do it then. Cool. This one was the Infrikit one, where I just straight up admit that I was copying him. AI generated stories. This video is kind of blowing up recently. I don't know why. Maybe because I just admit that I'm copying him, but it's just basically putting you guys in story scenarios in this thing and then seeing what it feeds me back. And it was fun to do. More cursed TTT stuff. Oh yeah, we're getting towards like September, August area now. We're like table flip when he's wearing his Dr. Eggman suit. We did the prison heist with him, Lote, and Capstan. And then there was this one where we had a shootout, which technically was filmed on my birthday. So instead of just dying, I decided to fight back. And people were not happy, but too bad. Turns out when I feel like aiming, I can actually aim. And this was 4th of July. No, that's why I did the American flag and explosions. That was 4th of July TTT. I don't know if that episode was filmed on the 4th of July. Probably not, because then these two VR chat videos are also on my birthday. Yeah, so this was still technically filmed in May, but came out in July. Brief Hollow Cure video, which I got so good at the game after I stopped recording, of course. That's how that works. These two Minecraft videos are interesting. because these two Minecraft videos were filmed in January, but didn't come out until mid-July, because that's how backlogged certain things were. Capstan playing League was from like April, for example, came out in July, and that's where kind of some of these come out at. Now we get to this video. So this video, I straight up put butt cheeks in the thumbnail, and it did very well. I started experimenting with thumbnails at this point, and of course that worked, because I understand the internet. I understand where I am, the environment I'm in, what I would need to do to really start popping things off, and I did it. And it worked, and I feel bad only because it works. I'm like, I hope it doesn't work. Maybe I'm wrong. I would like to be wrong. Maybe things have changed. The algorithms have changed. No, they have not. Pop, pop. It worked. There you go. We played Fallout 76 for the first time with friends, and it was very fun, actually. It was actually very fun. I do not regret playing that game at all. More TTT stuff where I experiment with titles and thumbnails, and I'd also use shorts to kind of promote videos, and that would kind of feed back into videos, which was kind of fun. Among Us with the mechanics crew, Steam and all of them, I pretended to be Mark. That was actually a pretty fun video. We actually won 2 rounds back to back even. This video was fun. It was the whole try not to get age restricted thing. It got age restricted immediately, which sucks only because, not because I don't think it should be age restricted. Granted, I did blur everything, mind you. I did. But they still could detect what the video had in it. So fine. But the thing that bothers me only about that is there are times I've reached out to YouTube and just had to wait forever about things like, so Danganronpa and Sonic, for example, both of them are okay with like you using music and stuff as long as you're not just uploading the song and trying to like monetize their music. If it's like background music or something like that, they're usually okay with. I had a situation where I need to reach out to YouTube on 2 separate occasions behind both those series. I had more success reaching out to Sega and reaching out to Spike Chunsoft, who like are the publishers and developers for those franchises. I actually got actual contact with them much more faster than YouTube. YouTube still never really got back to me on those. But this video, instant age restriction within like an hour. I'm like, okay. So it wasn't like the size of channel, because I'm like, oh, okay, maybe because I'm small, it takes forever to get back to, I get it. Nope. When it's something like this, on it immediately. When it's something like that, when I need help, never. I could contact Sega faster than I could contact YouTube about YouTube. Just let that sink in. Then we get to September. We finally start September. I mentioned, for example, Table hit his goal with his charity stream. And I mentioned I'd do something if he did. I talk about it several times throughout the year. Go watch that video if you haven't. Gamma's the only one that has made like good on their part of it now. And now I'm like, I was initially feeling bad. I'm not feeling bad anymore, because I guess people maybe don't want to do it, which is fine. But it's not for me lack of putting it out there and telling people how to get it done. All right. And then of course, we finally started the second game school mode and doing Chiaki in the Wild Wild West. Complemented with some other, GTA, VR chat and stuff in there too. The Overwatch stuff, Steam's very efficient Doomfist, Good Naked. That was a fun night with Capstan actually, and Blue for that matter, teaching us German. And the way it would work is we accidentally learn the wrong words while trying to pronounce the right words, which is how we learned what Good Naked is in German while trying to learn how to say good night. That's the funny part of that video. Well, that ended up being the last VR chat video for a while, because there was a lot of backlog stuff. TTT, Digi coming back for GTA for like a day. First time, and this is like a lot of stuff from April and stuff, like first time Fortnite stuff. Risk of Rain videos that I've been wanting to come out for a while. That finally came out. Like this Risk of Rain video kind of held stuff up for a while because I wanted to make a creative thumbnail with our characters as the characters we also played as in the game. That was a mistake because I didn't want to put out any videos until I finished that. Nothing came out until I finished that, and it just backlogged everything super far that shouldn't have. Funny enough, this is my most popular TTT video, which is to stay 1.9 billion miles away from my fox, which is a quote I took out of the video from Lucy when for some reason yiffing got brought up, even though I've been off of Fox Cheeks since July. Some people are behind on the news. I get it. That happens often in the squad. The last League video, speaking of, was actually Lucy playing League after saying she wouldn't play League, and then she decided to jump the fence. It's like, all right. And then we got more curse like GTA stuff. This one is my not most popular, but it was a really fun one to make. It has a lot of everybody in this one and just moments and stuff in there. The conclusion to doing Chiaki in the Wild Wild West, that's finally done, as I promised it would be. And then we get into like October, November now. We went to the pit and Fallout again. That was fun. Another Risk of Rain video even in there where I subtitled everything, and I'm never doing that again. And then the third mode for the school game, and finally we get into the Final Fantasy stuff even. We finally played Final Fantasy. I promised Lucy, I want to say in 2021, I don't remember when, but it was like a long time ago. Like before the rest of y'all even. It was a while ago I'd say I'd play Final Fantasy. And then I finally did it. I was going to hold it off because there's a list of games, it was on this list originally, that I'm not playing until I graduate. So that way I can just jump into them, and then if I love them, I can just immerse myself, and etc. And the reason Final Fantasy was on that list too was because kind of how it's ended up. I actually really like the game. I like playing the game, but I'm so busy with stuff still, I don't get to just jump into the game all the time. Because that's why it's always like a gap between when I've played it and stuff, and it's going to probably keep happening until I graduate. But it is a fun game, and I do enjoy that I finally started playing it this year. As a matter of fact, it's fun. You know, you got Table Loat and a lot of other people, Smith as well. And it is fun. Even played with Digi one night. It was one night where he decided to play again, and I played at the same time. So that was cool. Thankmas happened, so the Thankmas announcement, TTT leading up to Thanksgiving episodes, more Final Fantasy now. We're kind of in the more recent stuff you know of, if you've been around the channel in the past month, 2 weeks of stuff. Project Playtime, there's more solo Christmas related videos, the Thankmas video from this year, the Thankmas video from this year with the Sonic Adventure part, and then even, you know, part of the Drug Wars DLC in GTA. In conclusion, getting to the top, 2,000 subscribers. We hit 2,000 subscribers this month. We hit over 500,000 views. We hit over 600,000 views. We're almost at 700,000 views, which means we also hit 669,000 views. Nice. But yeah, it's been a fun year to review and look back on like this, and this was a fun video to make, just to kind of go down memory lane. It's a bit quicker. I wanted to make a long video actually. I wanted to make a video that was long and kind of go over video by video, but we'd be here like an hour. We don't need to be here an hour. It's New Year's. It's Happy New Year's, and I need to let people get on with their day if they're also taking time to watch this video. But thank you so much for watching this video. You don't need to like, comment, subscribe, but we will see you in 2023, and it will be very fun. Thankmas was especially fun this year. I left the bar in here because we hit our goal of over 100, and then some. We hit 300, as a matter of fact, by the time it ended, because it does end on New Year's. So by the time this video is coming out, it'll be New Year's Eve. It's like the very last day to donate, I guess, if you want to, but you don't have to. Thank you everybody for turning out for this. Thank you everybody for turning out for the channel. I'm excited at what we're going to do in the 2023, because I've had some projects that I've been working on slowly that I can finally start getting out, and they don't have to be secrets anymore. Which leads me into the conclusion of this video, as a matter of fact. So the way I'm going to conclude this video is talk about Suki and Michi really quick, because a lot of the friend videos I make you could count as collaborations in a sense, right? This video right here that I made the thumbnail for, I made that thumbnail. I'm not going to go over the whole video. If you want to watch the whole video, you need to go to Suki's channel and watch it. But I'm in this video. It's a parody video for FNAF, and I am Freddy in this video. I didn't think you know, when you talk about collabs and stuff, I won't get into it too much, but thinking about collabing, if you told me one of the collabs I was going to be was Freddy in a FNAF parody, I wouldn't have known what to thought, but that was actually pretty fun. Glamrock Freddy specifically, of course. The boy, you are my superstar. All right. But this was a fun one to do. Suki worked hard on it, putting it all together. I just did my piece, and they did a very, very good job on how I really think. I mean, they're pretty proud how this turned out. I think it turned out pretty cool. Go watch it if you want to understand the context of it, because again, I'm not going to play it here. I want to make you guys have to go and watch it on her channel. But then we're also going to talk about Michi real quick. And if you know this reason, then you probably are knowing what this reason's for too. If you go to Michi, there's this one, because again, an actual like collaboration. This was a rap collab too. We did a rap. This one was a little challenging to do, admittedly, because when approached for it, it was kind of supposed to be like a chill, more mellow vibe with it. Like when I'm talking and stuff, or even when I've done other raps, they're not like kind of low down mellow stuff. They're kind of, I want to say like upbeat, but they're kind of like this voice, my like kind of, I guess, regular voice. This one I kind of would try to go low with it. And so it kind of hurt my timings a little bit. You can kind of hear it if you listen to it. Some people have listened to it, and that's one of the takeaways from it. But it was still fun to do, because it's something that I was like, I actually have been wanting to do something like this for a while. Every time I've tried to collab before 2021, unless you count the friend videos, it always falls through for some reason. Sometimes it is my fault, admittedly. But one way or the other, something always falls through. And so it was the first time that something actually came together. Because Michi and Suki both approached me for these ideas back in January. And so now they're out, and so it's fun to see them out. And so if you want to hear this one, you got to go to Michi's channel, Michi D. If you want to experience this one, Suki, if you want to go to experience that one. And that's how we're going to conclude the video by saying thank you so much for watching this video. I don't know which video will be next. We just have to wait and see. So until next time, take care and enjoy pizza responsibly. Thank you for watching.